So we have completed the master beverage fragment. Next, we are going to need the beverage detail fragment. So the design of the beverage detail fragment. We have the screw wheel here, and then inside the screw wheel, we have the constraint layout. Inside the constraint layout, we have the image view and also the two text view. So for the text view, the bigger text view is for the title or the beverage name, and then the second text view is a little bit smaller, which is represent the description for the beverage information. Okay, so let's go to the Android Studio. Create the new fragment, right click the jar folder and then select new, select the fragment, select the fragment blank. And then we're going to name the fragment, which is beverage detail. Fragment. After that, click finish. Same with the previous step, we're going to remove some unnecessary code. We only need to keep the on. We only need to keep the on create view. And then remove the comment as well, just in case. Okay, let's design our detail view first. Remove the text view, and then we are going to drag the scroll wheel inside the inside the layout file, and then go to your code, copy the schema, put inside the screw wheel, and then remove the frame layout. So missing X here. And then we also remove the linear layout which is generated by the screw wheel. Right. So go back to your design. So we have the screw wheel at the top. And then we need a constraint layout. And then make sure the constraint layout is also mesh parent. And then we need the image view. So drag the image view inside the constraint layout. So select any default image first. And then start create the constraint. So we need to have the left and right constraint. And also the top constraint. Okay. And then give some space between the left and right, also the top. After that, we need to change the skill type. Just search the attribute skill type to the center crop. Remember, hit enter. Go back to your remove the search, and then remember to add the select the image view. Remember to switch to the mesh parent, and then we need to give the ratio for the image 60 to 9. Okay, save it. So your image view is ready. Next, we put the text view. Inside the constraint out. So your text view, we also need to click the left and right constraint. A little bit difficult because too small. Okay. So add the left constraint. So transferring to the image, and then also the top constraint also constraint to the bottom of the image. After that, give some space. and then we need to make it bigger. So select the size, maybe 30. Right, and then we go to something wrong for the consumer out. Transparent. Okay. Add another text field for the description. So the text field description will be constrained left to the name of the beverage later, and also the top constraint to the bottom of the constraint of the text field. So this is typical. Okay. Give some space. Right, and then make it a little bit bigger. Maybe 24. Too big. So I'll make the title a little bit bigger again. 36. Alright. So next we are going to copy some text inside this text field. So you can just open your Google, and then you have something called room insome, and then you can copy the text, the template text, just few line to be enough, and then put inside. So you have your default or the template of the text. So for this text, remember you need to give the right constraint as well. So carefully to select the constraint and then to constrain the right hand side to the image view. Okay. I have to reduce back the space and so on. So let's check back the description constraint. So we have correct constraint the text field to this text field, and then so you can check here, are you making the correct constraint? Remember to change your constraint to the mesh constraint so that it can appear correctly. Alright, and then we need to give the ID for the each view so that you can have the you can manipulate the information inside this view. So for the image, we're going to give the ID image beverage, and then the second text will be the text view beverage name. Right. So after that, go back to your beverage detail fragment. We're going to modify the code so that you can display some of the data. First, again, we need to declare the view fragment view beverage detail fragment equal to this inflator. So your layout file will store inside this variable, and then I'm going to just return back this beverage detail fragment inside this on-grid view. After that, we need to set up some code so that you can set the data to this fragment. First, you need to declare image view, and then you need to declare the text view. So for this example, we only need the name of the beverage, and then the the testing data. Okay, we are going to display the beverage as Fragment and also the image Fragment as the default data. So after that, you can use the file view by ID to declare the variable. So we need to get the image beverage first using the file view by ID. That's beverage, and then also the text view. File view by ID r.id.text view beverage name. So remember, you need to declare like this because this fragment don't know where is the ID of image beverage, because this fragment doesn't have any activity information. So you need to declare the view first to tell the fragment that the image beverage is from this layout. So the layout is actually the beverage detail layout. So that's for the TV as well. So next, set the data to the image view. So we just declare the image beverage image and then set image resources. So the image resources is based on the integer ID from this image, and also the beverage name dot set beverage set text, and then using the beverage name variable to show the information. So if you run your application, you still cannot have any interaction or any function of the next. So we are going to implement a temporary function for the button next. When you click the button next, we are going to show the detail view. So go to the Android Studio, go to your main activity. Inside this main activity, we're going to find the button next. Okay. Button next dot set on click listener. View dot click listener. Alright. So inside this on click listener, when user click the button, we are going to replace the fragment detail. To replace the fragment detail to this area. So let's go back to the Android Studio, check your activity mean. And remember, you need to have the ID for the fragment container. So I will just give some ID container master. Okay. And then I will go back to your main activity, and then at here we are going to do the fragment replacement. So first declare your fragment. Okay, beverage detail fragment equal to new beverage detail fragment. Alright, this is your fragment to be replaced to the area. And then in order to do that, you need a fragment manager. Fragment manager equal to get support fragment manager. This is how you declare it. And then you need to have the start the transaction. So begin transaction. And then what you want to do is you want to replace the fragment with, we have two parameters here, which container you want to replace, which the r.id fragment container master, and then replace with which fragment, which is we want to replace using the beverage detail fragment. After that, remember to commit it. Alright, so on. So remember to declare the beverage detail and then utilize the fragment manager, using the fragment manager to begin the process. They call it the begin transaction to replace the fragment beverage inside this container, and then remember to commit. To commit, that means basically is to confirm the transaction. So let's try and run your application to see it's working or not. Okay, you have some error here. I think you cannot open the application. Check the logcat, select the error. So they tell you you have some error here, or because the button is haven't declared. That's why you have the now object reference. Alright, so button next dot equal to find view by ID r dot id dot button next. So let's run again. Okay, so if you click next, you can see the fragment is replaced. Okay, of course you can still see the original fragment there. Of course, we're going to fix it later because they just want to show you how you can use the support fragment manager to add the fragment or replace the fragment to the fragment container. So in the next few series of video, we are going to uh, make it properly.